The SNAP benefits crisis. From shutdown to looting threats and sporadic unrests, the ongoing U.S. government shutdown, now stretching into its fourth week as of November 3, 2025, has precipitated what could become one of the most significant tests of social stability in modern American history. At the epicenter is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, commonly known as food stamps, which provides critical monthly aid to approximately 42 million low-income individuals and families, about 1 in 8 Americans. For the first time in the program's 60-year existence, November benefits totaling around $8 billion were not dispersed on their scheduled start date of November 1st, due to depleted contingency funds and congressional gridlock, CBSNews.com. This lapse stems from the Trump administration's decision not to tap into $6 billion in emergency reserves, a move criticized by 26 state attorneys general who sued the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, in a bid to force funding. NYPost.com. The shutdown itself, triggered by partisan battles over spending bills, has left federal agencies, including the USDA, in limbo, amplifying fears of widespread food insecurity, as grocery prices remain elevated from lingering inflation, up 25% since 2024 basics, like eggs and bread.
Hey peeps, this sloth's slinging hot dogs solo. Don't let him hang. Hurry, before I blow away in the breeze. Hit that like if you're grilling, subscribe for more chill vibes, and share quick thanks for the fast support.
The cutoff has ignited a powder keg of desperation, with social media erupting into calls for mass theft and food riots reminiscent of historical uprisings like the 1777 flour riots in Philadelphia. TheRoot.com. Social media platforms, particularly TikTok and Facebook, have become breeding grounds for these threats, transforming frustration into organized plans for chaos. Videos and posts from self-identified SNAP recipients, many from urban areas with high poverty rates, such as parts of New York City, Houston, and Ohio, boast of intentions to clean out stores like Walmart, Dollar General, and local chains such as Food Bazaar. One viral TikTok clip features a woman declaring, "If y'all play with my SNAP card, we gon' play with y'all. Fill the buggy up. Run, have your car parked a block away," urging viewers to coordinate in groups for protection and escape. NYPost.com. Another post targets a specific Walmart in East New York, Brooklyn, calling for a mass gathering at 6:30 p.m. ET on November 3rd to walk out with everything, framing it as a protest against the rule of Donna Jab at President Trump. NYPost.com. These calls disproportionately affect Black and Latino communities, where SNAP participation rates exceed 20% in some neighborhoods, and users explicitly tie the threats to racial inequities in welfare access, warning that messing with Black folks' food stamps will unleash widespread theft. NYPost.com. By midday November 3rd, hashtags like #SnapLooting and #EBT riots had amassed over 500,000 views on TikTok, with similar sentiment on X, formerly Twitter, where users shared past looting footage from 2020 protests to hype impending action at nowhere_X_any. While some dismiss these as bluster from a vocal minority, experts note that even isolated incidents could cascade, given the program's role in preventing hunger riots as a deliberate policy tool since the 1960s. TheRoot.com. In response, retailers and law enforcement have scrambled to fortify defenses, treating the threats as credible risks rather than mere online noise. Walmart, the largest SNAP beneficiary with over $15 billion in annual EBT transactions, issued internal alert.
Hey peeps, if this vibe's hitting right, smash that like button, click through for more and forward it to your squad. Spread the love. Thanks for the energy.
Alerts to store managers nationwide, advising heightened surveillance and coordination with local police. NYPost.com. In Ohio, a Dollar General in Cleveland boarded up its windows preemptively, citing specific online chatter about targeting discount chains first. Newsweek.com. New York City police have ramped up patrols around high-risk sites like the East New York Food Bazaar, which typically staffs only 2 to 3 guards per shift, woefully inadequate against a coordinated mob of hundreds. NYPost.com. Sources within the NYPD describe the plans as lawless protests disguised as theft sprees, with undercover monitoring of social media groups. Broader contingency measures include temporary SNAP top-ups in states like California and New York via emergency funds, though these cover only 50 to 70% of needs. Supermarketnews.com. On the federal level, a late-breaking development on November 3rd saw the Trump administration announce partial SNAP funding following court rulings in Rhode Island and elsewhere, potentially averting full catastrophe by issuing prorated benefits by week's end. Fox23main.com. Security firms like Tal Global warn that even with partial relief, flashpoints like employee walkouts or opportunistic theft rings could persist. drawing parallels to 2011 UK riots where economic despair fueled $500 million in damages. TalGlobal.com. As of 11 p.m. ET on November 3rd, reports of actual unrest remain sporadic and unverified. Falling short of the massive civil unrest hyped in viral YouTube videos, many of which have been debunked as AI-generated deepfakes showing fabricated Walmart stampedes. ca.news.yahoo.com. Isolated incidents include a family allegedly caught on camera fleeing a Houston area grocery with armfuls of meat and diapers, tied by locals to snap desperation, and minor scuffles at a Chicago Aldi where shoppers clashed over limited stock. Facebook.com. On X, real-time posts from November 3rd. Evening reference to 6:30 p.m. Walmart meets but report no widespread chaos. With users quipping so far, no snap riots. Amid warnings to avoid your local Walmart tonight. However, underreporting is likely. Historical data from the 2020 George Floyd protests shows looting often spikes in low visibility hours, with damages totaling $1 to $2 billion across 140 cities. Snoppes.com.
Yo, exquisite peeps! Digging this shell-shocking clip? Hit like to keep it sunny. Click ahead for more, and pass it on quick. Don't spill my yolk, or I'll be all runny. Thanks for the scramble.
Preliminary tallies from retail associations indicate a 15 to 20% uptick in shoplifting nationwide since November 1st. Concentrated in essentials like baby formula and canned goods items, SNAP typically covers. No deaths or major injuries have been linked, but community tensions are palpable, with X threads debating whether looters should face lifetime benefit bans. At Amy Regerit, the broader implications of this crisis extend far beyond stolen shopping carts, exposing deep fissures in America's social safety net and political polarization. Economically, SNAP injects $120 billion annually into local economies, supporting 400,000 jobs in retail and agriculture. A prolonged cutoff could trigger a 1 to 2% GDP dip in affected regions. Per USDA estimates, while exacerbating the 13.5% food insecurity rate already straining pantries. NPR.org. Politically, Democrats have weaponized the shutdown to blame Trump, with figures like Gavin Newsom decrying the rule of Don, while conservatives counter that welfare dependency fosters entitlement, pointing to years of video of routine theft. At Gunthrigelman, conspiracy theories abound on platforms like X, alleging the cutoff is a deliberate destabilization tactic to justify National Guard deployments ahead of midterms, or even a ploy by useless eaters, herded into corporate traps like Walmart. Long term, this episode underscores the fragility of entitlement programs in divided government, potentially inspiring reforms like block grants or work requirements, but at the risk of entrenching cycles of poverty and crime. As one X-user lamented, just imagine if they put this same energy into job applications, highlighting a cultural chasm between self-reliance and systemic failure. At nowhere_X_any, in summary, the SNAP got snipped. Saga slang for the brutal cutoff has teetered on the brink of anarchy, but as of November 3rd, largely manifested as bluster and burglaries rather than biblical-scale riots. Partial funding announcements offer a reprieve, yet the damage to trust in institutions lingers. For millions, the real theft isn't from shelves, but from the promise of stability. A stark reminder that when the safety net frays, society unravels one empty pantry at a time. Broader vigilance from lawmakers is essential to prevent this from becoming the new normal in an era of fiscal brinkmanship.